script over there. So the topic is, what is Hotep? I'm going to give you a short answer first. And it's a conscious state of mind. Now, for the long answer, this needs to be explained in 3 parts. First, I'm going to talk about the origins of the word. Secondly, I'm going to tell you the history of its modern use. And thirdly, I will discuss some basic principles. So let's start with the origin of the word. Now, Hotep has been around for more than 5,000 years, more than that. It translates to peace, or be at peace, or come in peace. The word Hotep was commonly mentioned in the ancient Egyptian religion of Kemet, or Kemetism, spelled K-M-T. Many Egyptians, leader like Imhotep, added Hotep to their name as a honorific title. Kemetism is the primary source of information for the religions of Judaism, Christianity, and Islam, predating these religions by thousands of years. An example is the ancient Egyptian story called Eloquent Peasant. You can easily find some more information on a Wikipedia or web engine search. Moving on to the modern use of the word Hotep. Now, in the black community worldwide, people who practice or actively study Kemetism of or ancient Egyptian religions, they may add a Hotep to their name. In the United States and Europe, adding Hotep to your name has a slightly different meaning. You know, there's millions of African descendants living in what we may call Western civilization, and they're suffering from cultural amnesia due to our history of slavery. Most slaves in the past were told, and they believed, that their ancestors were uncivilized and were closer to monkeys than other races were. Our slave ancestors were considered to behave like animals and to be prone to violence. After that, they were freed and allowed to read, and they were told to read that good book. And the book said that the black man was meant to be a servant because of his sins against his creator. You know which good book I'm talking about? Ghettos or projects were specifically designed to isolate and deprive the black community of education and development. These black men having technical difficulties here. These black men and women were further debilitated by socialist movements such as the Affirmative Action and the Civil Rights Act. These movements, while fought with good intentions, did more damage to the already culturally deprived black community. The black race had been categorized as a disabled group by the government. When you present yourself as a victim to the government, you will be treated as a disability and a liability, as you should. That's just how it works. If you call yourself a victim, you're going to be treated like a victim. And fast forward a few generations, some black men started realizing that his community was being manipulated. Successful black communities like Black Wall Street were being intentionally destroyed. All of the leaders were getting assassinated or incarcerated. Black children were getting kidnapped. These few men and women decided to study history and law. They started finding out that many laws and facts about history were carefully omitted and manipulated to the disadvantage of the melanin man, aka the black man. Also, that they found out that many of their black ancestors were responsible for centuries of knowledge and civilized human history, especially in ancient Egypt and the surrounding areas. Now, these were the early Hoteps. Others, not so much. The consequences of slavery run deep. Black people of today still believe that our race is predisposition to violence. This all stems from the state of mind that our enslaved ancestors passed down to us when they believed that we were a species between animal and human. The black male specifically, between the ages of 15 and 30, is considered the most dangerous man on the planet. You can see the proof in the private prison systems across the United States. These are the same people who started using the word Hotep as a derogatory term for black men and women in the United States who have become conscious of their genetic history. Now, fast forward to the post-Obama era. Conscious black men and women in the United States reclaimed the word. Sounds familiar? I'm going to explain to you what it means to be a Hotep in 2020. Now, adding Hotep to your name means that you understand the concept of an institution and the generational impact that it has on culture and society. Playing victim will only lead to more victimization. If you know the origin of Hotep, you are closer to knowing the truth about your civilized history of our ancestors. It's a big middle finger to the perpetrators of the truth, peacefully of course. The people who still today do their best to hide the truth. Yes, you. I call them the watchers. Because people who lie, they need to have eyes in the back of their heads, so they're always watching. The watchers. Anyways, that's why I call myself a Hotep. So, black brother, you can stop considering yourself a victim. One of the most damaging effects of being oppressed is ignorance, and it runs through generations. If you don't know you're being oppressed, even if you are freed, you might run back to your massa because you don't know any better. Have some pride in what you come from and know what your people are made of, and start rebuilding a strong and healthy community with your brothers and sisters based off of that, so that your kids may prosper. Now, so that's Hotep. It's modern use. Moving on to the basic principles. Now, Hoteps are not bound by their own personal beliefs and preferences, like religion, for example, and will minimize their influence of their personal beliefs within their communities. At the same time, respecting the other man's belief within reason. In order to do that, you should be able to define or describe your own values, ideals, and morals. You can choose to have difference in values as a people. When you have difference in morals and ideals, that's when things tend to go wrong. That being said, there's a difference between being pro-black and being proud black. Being pro-black is a step above being proud black. And a step above that is being a black nationalist. Now, black nationalism crosses the line of ethnocentrism. Ethnocentrism is when the people sharing an ethnicity or a culture believe in maintaining that state at all costs. This is racism, but it's not always wrong. Stay with me. This is a personal choice for every Hotep. But I, like most other Hoteps, don't believe that ethnocentrism to be above your morals and your ideals. But I can respect it. Meaning that I have no problem with a white person saying, I want to keep my lineage white. It's good for him. As long as we can have compatible morals and ideals, and we can treat each other with the respect, admiration for our commonalities and our differences. In fact, I consider them white Hoteps. Yes, you heard it. With that being said, do not support the systematic defragmentation of the melanated man and the intentional attempts at erasing the history that has been going on since the first century of the Roman calendar, or the Common Era. Until that stops, Hoteps may be perceived as pro-black, but under normal conditions, black Hoteps would just be proud blacks, and white Hoteps would be proud to be white, and everything in between. Now moving on to the more controversial stuff, because there's been some rumors. Hoteps are pro-women, but we are anti-feminism, or feminists. Feminist is an ideal that creates division and isolation amongst genders and families. Feminism itself is anti-women if you go study it. We believe it to be a big problem, especially in the black community. Now, on a side note, some hardcore Hoteps even consider the black woman to be the representation of God, or the Creator. Kemetism was a religion that depicted women as gods side by side to women, to men, as you can see in the picture above here. Unlike popular religions of today, who characterize women as instigators, prostitutes, or even property, today, I don't practice Kemetism, by the way, and we're not here to talk about religion. So cut. Let's move on. Now, I'm just going to tell you some of my thoughts about what I think about Hotep myself. As a race, we've been at the bottom, and we have been for the past 700 years. Why is that? What really happened in the past that we don't know about? I know why they pity us, because we used to be slaves. But my personal quest is to find out why they're still afraid of us, or even mad at us. Why all the hostility? Now, facing this pressure, some black men and women like me, we've been forced to connect with our higher selves, but it took some time. We had to cycle through generations. Hoteps are truth seekers by nature. We always ask why. We question everything. When you manage to connect with your higher self, as your ancestors did in the past, the truth becomes visible and sometimes even obvious. You can see yourself in the third person. Third eye is open, and you can interact in harmony with your surroundings, like your ancestors did. So what are the basic characteristics of a Hotep? I'm just going to throw some words for you. If you don't know the meanings, look them up, please. Here we go. It's confident, self-sufficient, realist, optimist, skeptic, inconspicuous, tolerant, adamant, and last but not least, contrarian. So there's much more to the Hotep mindset. You can check out other videos of the other Hoteps, which have a lot more information. Hotep's Been Told You, great show on Thursdays. You can catch up on the American Hotep mindset. That's it for this video. Check out the link box below. I have a 10-question survey to test your Hotep Level Quiz. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section about that, or shoot me a message in my social medias. In my next video, I'll get into the details of who is not Hotep and other related topics. I have a lot more coming. Thanks for watching, and turn off your TVs. Hotep.
Africa, just to mention of it, man. It's like you call my name.